Are you ready? Are you ready to pod it up?
Let's go. Let's have fun.
Pete-cast it.
This is the Simply Youth Ministry Podcast with Doug Fields,
But we are an award-winning podcast. We gotta start promoting that.
Matt McGill,
Let's soak up that awesomeness.
How great is this?
Wow.
Josh Griffin,
Just to throw it in there, not all of our shows are going to be great.
and Katie Edwards.
That's what the teens are saying.
Write in. We'll answer your email.
SYMpodcast@gmail.com. Hey everybody, welcome to the Simply Youth Ministry Podcast. Doug Fields here with Matt McGill, Josh Griffin, and the queen of the podcast, Katie Edwards. This is episode 144. We think it may be 145.
Oh,
but
goodness gracious.
Matt
I believe
says
you.
144. Josh says
I'm with you.
145. Our typical engineer, Chris, is not here. He's back in Colorado with Big Bucks Brazelton. So we have our genius graphic artist,
Daddy
Riley
Brazelbucks.
Hall, filling in, and we never know what's going to happen when Riley fills in.
But he's
The
smile
sun will come
time.
out
Yep.
tomorrow.
welcome,
smooth so
welcome
far.
to the live show. And Josh has got, if you're watching a video, he's playing Minute to Win It, I guess, with 5 water cups.
Very thirsty today. I'm hydrating.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep,
That's good.
Just keep fluids in, guys.
that's
Yeah.
right.
That's all I got.
Thank
Hydrating.
you.
It's like a
As
hydrate.
Matt would say, write it down.
Write it down.
All right. Hey, last week we had this gentleman named Brian, who's a newbie who needed some help, and I asked people if somebody would jump in and mentor him. He's from Minnesota, and on the live show, Taryn Ramsey says he's going to take that. I sent him the email. I hope they connect. He lives in Winnipeg, fairly close to Minnesota. Somebody else wrote in, said they would help Brian too. I love that about
That's so
our
great.
our
Look at the
team
community just
podcast.
coming together.
Just
It's like this.
that.
Synergy.
and
Like
what
a
we're
basket.
doing
They're just
right here
weaving.
behind my back are photos of people who have been 00 listeners and
Cool.
People that have,
revirginated. What are we calling
We're
it?
landing on that?
No, we're not landing. I actually,
right.
I want to present a
how's
new
the-
idea.
yeah,
I
I'm
want to
gonna
present
say.
a new idea that is not mine. It comes from Michael Ann Bryant. Okay.
Good job.
Yeah.
Michael Ann Bryant,
If your middle name's Ann.
and your first name's Michael. That's
Maybe
throwing
it's
me off a
McCall.
little.
Yeah.
Macaulay.
Yeah, because
Yeah, or maybe it's Michelle and she spelled it wrong.
Oh, could be.
So
She could have spelled her
MAB,
name wrong.
volunteer youth worker and youth pastor's wife. Oh,
we don't know their gender,
well, maybe
really.
Michael. Michael is a woman's name.
Yeah,
Michael.
it totally is. Like David's
Yeah.
wife was Michael in the Bible.
You
Yeah.
are so homeschooled. First
maybe.
United Methodist Church, by the way, this weekend, speaking in high school, I have
Yeah.
a great bit that I just can't wait to hear your cackle on. I'm not
Oh,
going to tell you about
it is
it,
going
but
to
I'm
happen.
just warning you.
Even an average bit, I'll cackle. I'm just happy to have you around. So it's going to be great, dude.
Anyway,
Come on.
Michael, she is from Alvin, Texas.
Could be.
I wanted to thank you for visiting with my husband Scott and I at the National
Oh.
Youth Workers Convention in San Diego.
Well, could,
Yeah.
is
Maybe
it solved or is it still kind of
I don't know. What denomination? I didn't see that. No, I just kidding.
I remember this because she talked with Kathy and I about their 10-year-old son. When I remember exactly where we're standing, we remember what they look like. She is much better looking than her husband. She made us comfortable decision. Okay, I'm not a 00 team member, but I am a Rewind member.
Oh,
A
I
rewind.
Like that.
Oh.
That's it.
The SYM podcast rewinders.
Is everybody in on
that's
that?
strong.
Okay,
Yeah.
bring it in,
Rewind.
bring it
I'm
in.
going to put it right here.
All right, bring it in. Rewind it is. All right, let's
You're so
send
hesitant.
let's send her
I
something
don't like
just
to make
because
snap
that's
decisions.
Yeah, that's it.
it. Team podcast now it is the Rewind wall and the 00 wall.
We've
all
added
right.
some pictures, but I do think
know.
we could use a few more ladies, to be honest. We could use a few more ladies
We
on
may
the
not
wall.
have any ladies
I
on
know.
our in our
Yeah.
audience. But hey, let's go through the ones that were sent in. Ben Halsh from Shueyville Church in Swisher,
Ben.
Iowa. He is on the Rewind wall, not the Revirginator wall. And Ben he sent in a JPEG there's 2 we couldn't print out. Ben was one, but we will get that today. And Aaron Landis, he's been at Springfield Mennonite in Cooperstown, Pennsylvania for 6 years. He says, I work in a small church with one other pastor in a small windowless cubby of an office. You guys help me feel connected to the youth ministry world. Thanks for the encouragement and being there for youth pastors feeling disconnected. You will
windows
be
are
on the
so
wall
overrated.
next week. Now everybody else is up on the wall.
right.
I checked. This is Eric Smith. He's a
Cool
Rewind bivocational
Looks
youth
like
pastor
Jake.
from Chaffont, Pennsylvania.
What up?
I don't have the claim of fame of being an original 00 listener, but I went back. He says the picture that he sent in right here, this was a logo that he won from us early on, and Natalie designed a logo. And he says, so I've included a picture with Natalie's awesome logo that she designed for us. I sent Natalie a shirt as well, but I'm pretty sure Doug stole it. Yeah, because Natalie and I wear the same size. Natalie will always hold a special place in our heart because her logo still represents our youth ministry to this day. Well, hope she's doing well. Well, unfortunately, she passed away. No, she's doing great. She's doing great. He says
Past a gallstone?
it's the chimmest part of his week. So Eric,
It is an original.
Eric, welcome
That's sweet.
to the wall. Now
Original
on our
without
Slash
taste.
Embarrassing.
on our rewind wall, we have our dear friend Danette Maddie.
Oh, Danette.
She wins, and Danette is wonderful. If you go to our Simply Youth Ministry conference, you've met Danette.
You're saying she's wonderful because you're about to make fun of her?
No,
I'm not gonna make fun
I
of her.
have met her one time.
She's great.
But
She's unbelievable. And
I
actually,
Interviewed in
Chance to
group a
talk.
couple months ago, right?
she writes for
the
groups,
magazine.
speaks. She's incredible. But I've also thought if Katie died,
she would be the one.
she could replace you. But she lives in Minnesota.
Oh,
But look what she sent. It was almost like a glamour shot.
that is.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that's
And-
what you
Oh,
have for your
that's
Facebook
cute.
page.
a glamour shot.
Her
Yeah,
family
You're
photo.
Kind of a glamorous shot.
Yeah.
Do I for my
What about
face?
something candid? Something
Yeah.
more, hey.
Yeah, something that you're...
Okay, I'll change that on my new one.
Have you ever seen him like that? Just like, hey.
Hey, everybody.
I was in the parking lot.
Today in the parking lot, I'm driving in, and all of a sudden Doug just appears, and I'm like, "This is awesome." It was candid. I wanted to take a Facebook picture.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Yes. Well, Danette, we love you. You're on the
What
rewind
parking
wall.
lot were you guys in today?
We're down here.
Hey, back.
It was just this moment where I'm like,
The
driving
parking
in,
lot.
and there's this crazy man,
Yeah.
Doug. It was
Yeah.
awesome.
Although I was clothed. This is
Why
from
wouldn't you be?
Rewind on the rewind wall. Jeff Stapleton. Jeff Stapleton. That's him over there to the right.
Congratulations, Jeff.
Yep.
Where is he?
Very pondering.
Yep. He is at a
He's in
church in
That's what
East
Texas
Texas in
Contemplative
Marshall.
youth ministry right there.
He says, your words of wisdom, encouragement, love, and often absurdity have been an invaluable tool in my growth in times of struggle, parent explosions, or just difficult situations. I think back to things I've learned from you all when I was a little down. I can count on the podcast to brighten my day. Matt's strong stance against Max early on, or the tacky porn comment of episode 104, which I don't remember that.
I don't either, but I'm sure that happened.
I didn't say anything about it. I would never say.
Look forward to meeting you at the Simply Youth Ministry Conference this year, which all of us are going to be at. Another live show. It will be Katie's. We're going to have to
I'm
reenact.
excited.
Yeah.
Because that's when Katie made the decision. I was texting her the whole
Yes,
time,
that
like,
was
come on,
crazy.
you can replace Jan. Come on, come on.
Now at the Simply Ministry Conference, you have to re-up for a year. So we'll ask you there if you want in.
I think you should hold out.
Hold out for more money.
For Hawaii.
For Hawaii.
I really
That
like
is a good idea. We got to
I
figure
know.
that out. Katie, before the show,
I've never
said,
been to Hawaii before. I would
What?
love to go.
Josh.
I know.
well, this show is sponsored by
look at
99 Thoughts
pictures.
for small group leaders and morethandodgeball.com
If you would, please.
I'm sure Brazel will pay for a trip to Hawaii.
for the
If we could
200th
convince
show.
him, that would be awesome.
I mean,
It
we're a
seems
long
like
way
a big
away.
deal.
I
yeah,
think
but
so.
I would actually.
Not
stick
if we
with the
do
show
10
if that
shows
was
a
like
week.
the prize at the end.
Yeah, totally.
Well, Larry, you're on the wall. Larry is our fake Larry that we made up a few weeks ago because
yeah.
he sent in an anonymous one.
Yep.
It was about finances. You remember this? And he's actually stuck in the church. I mean, like
Literally, like he
He's-
cannot leave.
no,
It
he
just-
stayed
stuck with it.
He
Persevered
stuck with it.
through.
He said 30 kids have trusted Christ this semester. He
Oh,
says
Goodness.
that's
by
amazing.
far more than last year.
That's
He
great.
said one of the guys, Jeff, who listens, connected with him and kind of cared for him.
way.
It's amazing.
And they connected, and he says, I want to invite anyone who's struggling in this area, money type stuff, or any area for that matter, to connect with me. I'd love to pay back and be a listening ear
Oh,
and
you
a
got
prayer
money
partner.
to give?
He says, my blog is thinknextnow.com. So if you want to connect with him,
Check it
Next
out.
now.
he says, I'd love to connect. I don't expect you to read that on the show, but Josh knows, like I do, a little blog traffic, never hurt a guy.
There you go.
All right, morethandodgeball.com. And what's yours? Loving Coke, eating fries.
I
what is
always
it?
forget. It's Love God.
Love God.
Students.
Love God.
Dot com.
.com.
Love
I
God.
really
It's
like
the,
it, Matt.
the
It's
greatest. It's the greatest commandment and the second greatest commandment. It's not too hard to forget.
Love
Yeah.
God,
I mean, hard
love
for you to
love
remember.
students. What translation is that one in?
Yeah.
I have a post set up to go, I think it's late tonight, on your discussion guide that you create. It's a great handout for your students and great study so that you'll...
I'll
it's
get
good.
3 more hits.
Yeah, so guaranteed 3 more hits.
Guaranteed 3 more visits.
Yeah.
No,
It's good
no,
stuff.
you
Yeah,
know that the
lovejesus.kids.com.
You know the Grandmaster himself came up with that title. I was so happy.
I know.
Yeah, it was Griff's idea. It was
Anyway,
great.
Mark Cox is
Probably
on.
should give him
Hey,
that.
00, another 00 listener. And I don't think we can do this
Love
every week,
students.
all the zeros. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's kinda fun.
originally, get 'em
It's
in-
helping me
get
get
'em
to
in
know
here.
Maybe do it at the end
Okay.
when everyone else is like, oh, geez.
This is Ryan Feldman. Ryan Feldman's Reformed Church of Del Rapids. And Josh met with him at Claim
Sounds
Jumper.
like a drink at Del
Oh,
Taco.
let me see his face.
Says, love the encouragement and loud cackles of McGill. The bantering back and forth never seems to get old.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which surprised me because it gets old to me.
Yeah, very old.
That's fun.
So 00.
fun.
Chris Burke is on the wall.
Yeah.
00. He says, I downloaded the first podcast on the day it was first published in iTunes. This is the guy who sent in questions about what do you do on a mission trip when you catch 2 teens having sex. That was
yeah.
him.
Wow.
Listening to the podcast has helped me know that I'm not alone.
That's cool.
Yeah. Jeremy Little is also 00. He's a cute one with his... not that he's cute. Although I'm fairly attracted to him. It's a cute photo because he sent his kid in there. And look at us. We're in the background there.
Oh, that's
Nice.
cute.
So,
On Matt's blog, no less.
Not
yeah,
surprised.
Jeremy Little.
Is that
and-
Matt's blog?
It's Matt's blog.
Wow. How can you tell that?
It is.
Oh.
Look at it closely. It is.
I'm not surprised
Matt's
you're
blog.
attracted to
Jesus loved you like
bald people.
youngpeople.com. Jim Clark, who is our longtime buddy Jim
Oh, yeah,
Clark.
he's up
on the
today.
wall. Yep.
Jim's great.
Awesome.
All right. So we got the rewind wall and the 00 wall.
I like
Excited.
it. Winner.
All right.
Totally.
Cool.
We
Be
didn't give her
kind.
anything for coming up with rewind. or-
Yeah, no, I've set that aside. We're gonna send Ann, Michael, Bryant, Michael, Michelle, and
Whatever
something.
his or her name is.
Michael Ann.
Alvin, Texas.
Yeah, Ann's kind of a giveaway. If a guy had an Ann,
I know, but
That's
I
Could be a
middle name?
family name though or something.
that's true. Yeah.
I mean, I know lots of guys that are named Aaron.
hey, let's jump into this.
Me
Thanks,
too.
What is this about? You guys are talking for 10 minutes.
I had a good friend named Leslie. he had
Thanks,
a really
Josh.
rough name.
Thanks, Josh.
There you go.
No,
I made that up just to be nice, but anyhow, go
yeah.
ahead.
All right.
You treat me unfair.
I'm ready.
My name is Matt Sasso, and I have a junior high question. I am working with our executive pastor and children's director to bring in 6th grade students into our junior high ministry. This has started after I was approached by a number of parents who wanted a youth program for their student. They want small groups designated leaders caring for their students. Okay, so we're going to have a junior high question. But some people might fade out on this, thinking I don't work with junior high. No, this is going to be a leadership question.
Okay, good.
Because now parents
Yeah.
have come to him saying, "We want something in our in your ministry." Okay.
And you
That's
care
the
about
leadership.
junior high because they
I
will
do.
be you
I do.
eventually.
I'm going to get him in a couple of years. So
Yeah, I think the bigger principle in this is a leadership more than it is a
Great.
junior high. At this time, I'm planning to meet in focus teams of 3 to 5 families of 6th graders to hear their needs and concerns and make sure that before we make any changes, it's the consensus of a greater group and not those who have left our church because we didn't have a ministry for their student. Most of all, we want healthy ministries, not change things because people are leaving. So my question is, what would be some key reasons to change from 7th and 8th grade to 6th through 8th grade? How do you meet the need for families who live in different school districts? Is there anything else I should do in the discovery process as I meet with the families?
Interesting. Good question.
That's a great question.
He says give Katie a shout out.
Oh, I like Matt Sasso.
Shout out.
It's funny because I actually have been wrestling with this a little bit with just because we live in an area where direct split of half middle school, half junior high. And so we have a group of 6th graders. We have some 6th graders who
So 6th, 7th, and 8th is middle school.
middle school and then junior high, 7th,
7th and
8th.
8th, okay.
So we have some 6th graders who are coming who are in middle school mindset because they have friends who are in 7th and 8th grade and schools and
With
stuff.
older kids, all
So
yeah.
it's funny because we've actually been kind of wrestling this a little bit of just kind of thinking it through. I think right now I've just been doing a little research on just what kind of is that number of students because it always seems like people will say, oh, we've got 100 sixth graders coming or something. Well, it's really like 12, or, so really kind
These guys
of.
would never exaggerate to get their way.
Never. None of us would.
These guys, you didn't include yourself in that?
I'll exaggerate for humor.
Well, that you think is human.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's the goal.
Which is an exaggerated.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
No, so I think doing a little just research of just community and some of that, I think, is a great place to start. And then I think it's great to meet with some of the families. I don't know if I would meet with a family that's already left the church.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that would be
They don't have that voice anymore.
right.
They
I feel
gave that
like
up when they left.
I feel like who are your kind of members of the church? I think they can be an outside voice or somebody that maybe sparks some thinking, but I don't know that I would sit down to meet with those families. I think going to your core families and maybe even some families who have had students come all the way through, like, you're somebody that I feel like I would sit down with and ask, hey, your kids have already come through junior high, they've done sixth grade, now they're in high school, what would you, I think those families would be where I would start. I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah. I like it. I would say usually modeling it after the school district is what I would recommend. If it's through sixth grade, then that's the way it is in your church. Just keep it the same. But I would say this, if your children's ministry is very similar through sixth grade, and by sixth grade they're already starting to either get bored or drop off or whatever, or feel disconnected, maybe that's better, then maybe it's a good idea to move them in a little bit sooner. The only problem is once you start moving in students to a youth ministry setting, now till they graduate, now you've extended that a year, and are you going to start pulling seniors out to your college group then? And maybe that is a good solution. I actually would entertain any of those. I think it's interesting. But I think you just have to be really careful when you start, and your workload has to be a factor. If you're swamped with 7th and 8th grade and whatever, you're adding potentially 33-40% more students. Yikes,
Yeah.
That could make or break it. More leaders, more infrastructure, more
As a parent who's had all my kids have gone through, I would have loved something at our church that was just for sixth graders, like a transition year. I mean, as a youth pastor, I don't want them in another year because I think, I think 7th through 12th is a long time to keep kids.
Definitely.
But sixth grade is that zone where we were like fighting them to go to sixth grade Sunday school, and it was kind of done. And this is, an older era of children's ministry at our church, not the current one, but and I don't know what the current one's like, but when they got to sixth grade, it was just like, oh, more of the same, and video teaching, and they were just ready for something different. So I kind of like that, Mike Howerton's church at Overlake in Seattle. They just started a 5th and 6th grade deal, and they call it 5-6. I saw one of the kids the other day with a shirt on. It said 5/6, and I was like, "That's a cool shirt. What's that?" And he told me all about it.
Oh, that's cool.
Those kids are so stoked. So it's kind of like a preparatory
So it's
youth
not
group.
children's ministry, but it's not the youth ministry.
But
it's
the youth
this
ministry's
cool-
not running it. The children's ministry
that's
is, and it
good.
just seems like that's a good
It's a
holding
different
pattern.
feel.
It's different enough.
Yeah.
Then there's some excitement going in. But when you're in a culture like we are right now, where half of the kids are,
it's a funky thing.
that's a tough call. I think there's a bigger leadership principle here that I want to get at, and that is parents coming and telling you to change things.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So is that really leadership when, and I'm not saying Matt's doing that, but the general consensus. I like the fact that he's working with the executive pastor and the children's pastor, because to me those are the people that have the bigger picture. They're
Helping to
they're
steer the
less
big ship,
emotionally involved. When parents get involved, they're
my kid.
it's not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you don't listen to the parent. Of course you do, and of course you care for them, and they're part of your flock, and you know what's going on with them, and hear their concerns. And if you've got people leaving the church, I think you got to listen. But I just don't like the fact that parents always have ideas on how to improve things, but hey, get involved.
So your idea about the 6th grade, as a parent, you giving the idea of having a 6th grade transition year, should they not listen to that idea? Since you're a parent giving that idea?
Well, I mean, I didn't say it to them.
Right.
Yeah,
But
if,
parents can have good ideas.
absolutely,
Right.
absolutely, and I think like somebody called Kathy for those who knew the podcast, is my wife. Last week after, or Facebooked her or something, I forget, after small group. So we have a 9th grade boys small group and a 9th grade girls small group, and it's kind of large. And this girl didn't really connect. She didn't feel like they had enough time to talk and all this kind of stuff. And it's actually grown into a larger small group. And Kathy said, yeah, it is kind of a large small group. They're having a hard time, the small group thing has exploded and they're having a hard time getting leaders. She said, would you be interested in helping with that?
That's awesome.
And kind of put it right back in the parents' court about,
absolutely.
hey, everybody wants things better for their kids, but why don't you get involved and not stay on the sideline?
Yeah.
I love it. Interesting. Cool. So there could be good ideas, but be careful not to be reactionary to everything that you do and the whim of every idea that comes down the pipe, or you're not gonna. There will.
Well,
be
I like
your
that he's
strategy
taking-
will
right.
become that of
The crowd.
the newest
You're not a
idea
leader.
if you don't have a strategy.
Well, and even if it's a good idea, I still wouldn't necessarily recommend doing it now either. I mean, it's
Right.
end
Over
of
time.
October. I would say file that away, put that in your back pocket, and over the summer as you're debriefing and evaluating and figuring out where are we going.
Yeah.
Then in January or in
January might be a
September
good
or
time to.
Yeah.
Which it sounds like he's trying hard to kind of like
Yeah.
take his time and talk to
Yeah.
and not.
Yeah, it sounds like
make
he's
a quick
doing
call.
he's doing that. The word that I latched onto, which I wouldn't be a huge fan of, was consensus. Is what what you guys are saying, and so I wouldn't look to lead by consensus. Now, to get feedback for wisdom, to get feedback to see if there's a need, I think that's what
Yeah.
that means.
No, I think that's the bigger
But-
leadership
but the
principle.
leadership
is leading by
principle is-
consensus, which actually would be a good youth ministry daily. We would write that down. Because that leadership from consensus, the problem with that is the consensus changes all the time. The good news is if you lead by that way, the consensus graduates and they'll graduate out of your ministry, but that's not a good way to lead.
Yeah.
Jay, hi.
You're not supposed to
Hi,
say his
Ann.
name.
Yeah, please.
Hyam?
I am Jay. I actually know Jay. I just don't know how to say his last name.
Hey, Jay.
I've been listening, watching since 2007, but I have seen every one.
Oh,
Well,
that's
send
that's Higham.
Hey, Cam. So send your photo, Jay. Doug, you and I met in the elevator at the Simply Youth Ministry Conference. We didn't have the time to talk that much that weekend, but I hope that will change in 2011, Chicago. Well, we'll have to make a longer elevator ride. I bought my copy of PDYM back in 2000 after sitting in a seminar of yours. I devoured the book. Of all my books, there are only two that I leave on my desk, the Bible and a copy of PDYM. Right next to that, 99 Thoughts for All Small Please. I referred to it weekly, digging up all sorts of youth, blah, 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 blah. I lost my copy. All my notes, highlighted sections, marked pages, and sticky note bookmarks are gone.
Oh, no.
And
That's
while
a
I'm still
bummer.
grieving its loss, I'm learning how to talk about it and slowly healing the hole in my heart. I've thought
You'll
about
remember the
replacing
important
it.
stuff. Don't worry about
And
it.
while it wouldn't be the same, I would at least have the tools and the resources. But before I buy another PDYM book, I want to know, when is the new edition coming out? If I haven't purchased a new PDYM, I'd like it to be the new one. Well, I think you should purchase the new one.
You should, because
And the old one?
I got to finish writing that.
Are you ripping on the taco salad font?
No,
It's back in.
the font for the ages. Yeah,
Don't you think?
It's back
so
in. It's
bad.
come
you
back
think?
around.
Are you
a
serious right
decade
now, or are you
later.
kidding?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, you got me.
19. It was,
That got you?
Yeah, I was like, what? How could that be it?
1998.
And how could you know it's in? I mean, I was amazed on two levels.
I'm
there.
so happy I got
I mean,
it.
if it's not on a free T-shirt that someone gave you, it's how are you going to know what's in and
180living.com.
what's not in?
Oh,
I like the
living.
microphone
Little
shirts.
snug.
I like it too.
It's a little
It's
snug. You're buff, though.
onelyliving.com, but didn't I see a compassion logo on the back as well? Or no?
Partnership.
I don't know. I don't even know if I took
Yeah.
off the tag.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it okay?
that's cool.
There's no
Good
tag
for-
and there's a compassion logo.
Look
at that.
That's awesome. Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, here's the deal. I'm going to finish this book by the end of November.
Don't
Okay, here's the deal.
do
I
it.
just tell
That's
Matt this.
amazing.
I was working on.
Why are you guys laughing?
I was working on chapter 14.
He just kind of like proclaimed.
No, I'm going to.
I'm gonna finish this book.
I'm going
I've
to.
never heard that before.
No,
I
I'm
thought
going
it was
to.
so
Not one
shocking
time.
to be a-
Not a chance would be done.
That's a proclamation.
No, I'm going to finish. It's taking me forever.
what we
And there's
heard.
been many points where I go, I'm done. I'm not going to do it. But I'm too far.
Now,
But
14
in my
chapters, you're in.
But here's the deal. Do you know how many chapters there are?
I would say 16.
21.
Okay, we already told you. I thought there was 22 chapters. So I'm at 14. Okay, I got this many more to go. And then I got to go back and because I've been doing chapters at a time. I went into my garage where I keep my new editions where they come out.
Yeah.
And I looked. 19 chapters.
Oh, glorious.
Excellent.
It's like
You're on your
barely even
way.
a book.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
I'm
you're
almost
home
done.
stretch, dude.
And I'm on the
Well, if you
volunteer
make the
section
font
right
like
now.
a 12 or a 14,
Oh, it's 22
get there
font.
in no time.
22 taco font.
So hey Jay, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send you a PDYM.
I love the
one of
volunteer
old
section.
I was
of
gonna
your
say,
book.
there's no way we're gonna hold on to that for 3 years.
No, I'm gonna send him. I'm gonna
Yeah.
send him an old one, but I want you to buy the new one.
Why don't you just email him Email him the files of your new one.
All right, sure. Okay.
Should we say how
I'm
I
gonna
stole your
read the
joy
new
on
one.
that? How mean I was of a friend? You were saying, yeah, there's only 4 chapters left, and I'm not going to change them very much. I'm pretty sure that, I've just got a few
Well, I've
changes to
changed
make.
everything at the
So much
beginning.
else.
At the
Yeah.
beginning, and
Yeah.
but now we're into like volunteer
Oh,
stuff.
I love that
My
chapter.
discipline chapter, I mean, I'll tinker with it, but I'm not going to change it that much. But the first part I changed.
Although
a ton.
we've been learning some new things with the freshman small group, haven't we?
Hold on to that
Yeah.
book for a while longer.
Seriously.
New stuff coming.
Yeah.
So I said to Matt, I said, I think I'm going to be done by the end of November. And I said, I don't think I'm going to change much in the end. And Matt said,
I said, not a chance. What are you smoking? And I go, that's a false hope. And he's like, oh, it's a hope I need.
I look at that and I go, oh, that's good. And then I wind up, I look at because it's track changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm changing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of it I'm going,
exciting.
Isn't there a chapter on like calendar and task management
Yeah.
and time management?
Yeah.
That's gonna need a lot of changes to it.
yeah. Thanks, John.
Did you take
Well,
planned
just because
values out?
technology
Yeah.
now, right?
Just because technology
Yeah.
has changed the game. So I
Yeah.
mean, I think you'll have so much insight there that will be awesome.
I don't know, but that chapter's a lot more principles than it is
Yeah.
practical.
The main
stuff.
principle is write it down.
Oh, you have to put that in your.
Here's a sidebar by Matt McGill. Write it.
Oh, you have to put that in there. You should do a chapter 20 and just write it down and nothing else.
Oh, it's like,
Dude,
but you
that
know
could
what?
be
This is, and we should not talk about it. It's like when I'm writing, especially the volunteer chapter I was working on yesterday. It's like being with an old friend.
That's
It really is. It's
Yeah.
just going, oh, I really.
well, because it came out in '98, but you wrote it in what '96 and '97 or whatever.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah,
those were
it's
some
been
really great years.
It's been a while.
Yeah, now it sucks.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, the youth ministry day.
Remember the golden?
This is from Jared,
Oh, I do, buddy.
St. James,
We had
Dallas.
some good years.
The
The
golden.
The golden years.
The golden years. I tell people all the time, we're in the golden years again.
We are.
Keep dreaming.
Golden
Oh no, I know
years.
I'm dreaming, but casting that vision,
Speaking that into existence.
rolling the dice.
It's a false hope.
That's the hope I need.
The hope I need.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Jared, who's St. James, Dallas, says, I'm a proud member of the 90-something club. I
Nice.
think you should dedicate the bottom of the table to our pictures.
Which is kind of funny, actually.
The 90 something.
My
club?
question is
Great.
about providing monetary incentives.
We
Love
answered
it.
that in '89.
Oh, the golden years.
1989 or episode 8?
Episode 89. since he's in the 90 club.
That was
Yeah.
really funny. Good job, Matt.
Wait, is this picture under here for real? All right, keep going.
I work on a part-time youth ministry team, 2 part-timers instead of a full-timer. And my coworker is set on giving money to every student who brings a friend. I fully support encouraging friendship evangelism within the ministry, but telling students we will give them $5 for every friend they bring seems to remove the focus from evangelism and moves it to personal gain. What do you think?
Easy. First, it's not that big of a deal. Chill out. Secondly, give them $5 off the next event that they're going to. It's virtual money. It's not real money. It's still a gain and an incentive.
Says the
for
guy
them.
who's behind in his budget. What?
I was like, it's not real money for you. What's happening?
What ministry are you running?
No, because you could compensate.
He's
for it by
more
increasing
minute to
his
win
dollar.
it than youth ministry
I'm
to,
almost done,
to
by
win
the way.
souls.
I would say it's not a big deal. Yeah, I would give it $5 off an event. So if you have a $25 overnighter and you bring 5 friends, you get in free. Incredible. I don't think it's a big deal to give people money. I don't know if I'd give them cash for souls.
That
Yeah.
sounds like what they're
.com.
talking about, right? I don't
Instead of
know.
cash for gold?
I never ever would have thought of
didn't
that
get that.
because giving money away just no. I mean, I never would have thought like I'm
It's
gonna.
a tithe money. You're just gonna
It's
hand it
a
to
weird.
them.
Yeah, it's just money's a weird thing though. So parents might
But
think that's weird.
But $5 to Golden Spoon or a $5 iTunes card or something. And if you're doing a competition to bring the most friends, I could see this not being a big deal.
A one-time competition for a
one-time
certain
thing.
event that was.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm cool giving stuff away for fun.
Yeah.
I have a hard time giving stuff away for spiritual disciplines.
So if you're giving away, you're having this big event and you're giving away a Wii, and you spent $200 on that for your 20 kids.
Yeah.
That's 10, whatever it is, $5
Yeah.
per. I don't know what it is.
That's fun
But that's okay. But if you gave that money to a kid, it would be not cool.
for bringing a friend. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's just my gut.
I'm
That's
not
my
even
first.
saying I would do it. I'm just saying.
I know.
don't
I'm
think
not.
it's that good.
I wouldn't say I've actually thought this through all the way, but I'm just as we talk about it and banter.
Well, discipleship in terms of helping prepare a kid's heart, your motive, everything comes down to motive. So what is my motive that I'm bringing this kid for $5? I mean, I'm not sure I feel as strong about it as you do, Josh. If we're going to give something away, like you say, Golden Spoon, which in Southern California is yogurt,
Right.
a yogurt
Right.
thing. So $5 to a yogurt. I'd rather give it to the visitor than to a
Totally.
kid who
Awesome.
is bringing somebody. But
A little gift bag with like a welcome. What's our ministry?
yeah, I kind of think
Cool.
using it as an incentive to bring people sends a wrong message. But I think if you were doing a yearly, like, this is our bring a friend weekend, at Saddleback, I know that's a big deal. I saw one of Pastor Rick's Twitters about daylight savings time and make it a friend weekend, and this is bring your friend weekend. And so if it's bring your friend weekend and you're doing something like that, I can say, hey, we're giving bring your friend, we're giving you and him, give both of
Totally.
you a, coupon to a free ice cream or something like that. But I think when it gets into motive and evangelism, I tend to agree with Jared a little bit there.
What about me? Do you agree with me?
I really wasn't listening.
I think depending on
2 minutes ago, man.
Yeah.
depending on what's leading up to it too. Like if they've done like a 4-week evangelism training, or they've done some really great legwork with their students and their students have caught the vision, and then they do something fun incentive wise.
Yeah.
That could be a cool partnership because then there's the development of the heart
Yeah.
beforehand, and then they do
So if
something
I
fun.
get a little punch card that says bring 10 friends and I get an icy at the end of 10 friends, that would be bad. My motivation is not for my 10 friends, it is for my icy.
Well, my first response is it's gimmicky,
Totally, for sure.
and so I would want to think through something a little different.
Yeah, I mean, to get people to draw a crowd, you have to draw a line somewhere, and the line is always going to be arbitrary as far as what you're willing to do. I mean,
Yeah.
no matter what, like, well, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to have crazy minute to win it games and videos that border on irreverent just to see anybody who comes. Then that's great. I mean, that's the line. You might offend some people. You might whatever. And so no matter what you're going to do, you have to draw a line. And I think to draw a line to say, this is where everybody should be, you can't do that. And I don't think any of us is doing that. I think that we're just more, as we think about it, going, well, why? Just the fact that a kid shows up, let's get him there any way we can, short of illegal, whatever, immoral, I mean, short of those two things. Let's get him there anyhow, because who cares what motive? I mean, we know that people bring friends because, like, all my friends came to high school ministry because they wanted to meet hot chicks, right? And so that's why they showed up, and a lot of them actually ended up listening to the message and whatever. So I mean, I get the idea of who cares why they're there, at least they're there,
Yeah.
But
Well, I think we switch the rules a little bit with when you're talking about your friends, because you're talking about your non-church, non-Christian friends that were coming. Their motive, who cares what their motive is? But if I'm taking my leaders or my core type kids, and I'm saying,
but what if I invite them by saying, hey, you should show up, there's lots of hot chicks? I mean, what if I were to say that?
Right.
Now,
I'd
what
rather
was-
you do that than
money
reward you
with
for
money.
for doing that.
Yeah.
But like when we were laughing about the golden years. I mean, when our Sunday mornings were around tables, we used to say, hey, we'd have a box of donuts. Remember?
Right.
And we'd say, the table that has the most visitors.
That's cool.
Go ahead and introduce yourself. Find out, how many have. The table that had the most visitors got that
Right.
box of donuts.
Right. But then that was just kind of a welcoming thing
To the visitors.
It wasn't necessarily, But it's definitely a disputable
No, I
matter.
like having fun with
It's
it.
You
good
want
though.
you want to put a poll on your morethandodgeball.com?
Would it be wrong to have people? Well, I was just
Or
thinking,
should
let me translate.
love
Yeah, why don't
Jesus.
you do it?
rock
I'll
teenagers.com?
If I give my son $1 for some type of good behavior that I'm trying to have,
For
him
example,
learn,
making a sack.
yes,
That's what I do.
a discipline that I want him to develop, and I'm giving him an incentive that is monetary.
Right.
I don't see that as he's only doing it for the money. It's just part of him growing up, and it's a reward for the type
Yep.
of behavior that I want him to bring into his heart and develop in his heart. So
Go.
I can see this being different, but I can also see it being somewhat similar.
Right,
That We're
right.
trying to help them develop a heart of care and concern, and I'm rewarding good behavior. I don't know that cash is probably the best idea, but a
But what-
discount on
yeah.
an event I think is really
Yeah.
easy and fun, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's virtual money.
It's virtual. It doesn't really
not-
count.
Doesn't
Ronnie,
really count.
what's the live show
Report
saying?
back next week after you
will.
put it on
Well,
your
and I
blog.
want to say one
It'll be
thing
interesting
before we
to
go to
see
the
what
live show.
people
This
say.
would be an easy thing to just blast, and an easy thing to say, "Oh, that's wrong. That's horrible." And I don't
Oh,
think.
dear.
Oh, double zero.
He doesn't
They
like it.
are
He doesn't
really
like
ticked
it.
about it.
Okay, you're back in. Did you? Are you the one that taped those?
Would you like me to be?
I just.
Easier to make fun of if it's you,
Yeah.
as opposed to like
Debbie?
yeah.
No. Debbie did.
What does the live show say?
Debbie did a great job.
Oh, Ray just broke Riley up.
Oh no, he's still asleep.
How did Jesus have people come?
All right. The next.
All right, you win. Dang it.
Yeah. How did Jesus have?
He
people
gave
come?
them food.
Fish and bread.
Feed the 5,000. That cost money, but not for Jesus.
Hey, Ken
That's virtual
Todd.
money for him.
Ken Todd writes in. He says, "Keep the faith and give it away," is the tagline. I just wanted to let you know that I saw episodes 142 and 143 as they were in progress. I want to chime in on Cutting. The book that Marv Penner wrote is so informative and helpful. Last week was groundbreaking for us.
I ordered it today.
You did?
That book this morning.
Because you knew I was going to ask about it?
Yeah, exactly. You slyly copied me in on your email. That was good. That was good.
On which one?
To Marv himself. You wrote him a note and said,
Oh,
Josh,
but that
you're
was
gonna
like
order this
that was
book.
like days
Wink.
ago.
I know, but it's
Yeah.
still in my inbox. Gotta order this book.
Yeah.
Show
Anyway,
Marv.
this guy Ken, he actually
I like that.
he cut when he was in high school. He says it's personal to me because I used to cut in high school before anyone was really talking about it. I'm sad to see it so prolific. He was just talking about how much he likes how the book was very, very helpful for him, and it was groundbreaking in that we got to Skype in Marv.
Yeah, that's
but
awesome.
with our A engineer
Yes.
gone, we couldn't do it this week.
We didn't Skype him
Sorry.
in though.
No, we didn't. He
Yeah.
Skyped.
He recorded it, and we played a video.
Yeah.
It felt like Skype though.
It was awesome.
Because we were really listening to him while he was talking.
Like cutting edge.
I had already listened to it.
Yeah.
I could
I
be.
just started this book. What was the name of it again? Something hurting kids. Something cut.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. I
Don't-
can't wait.
Cutting
I need
for-
to grow in that area.
Cutting
so
for
it'll be good.
homeschool kids.
Oh.
Make sure you go to class. What about how over the line was it for me to say in junior high they just scratch? Was that just horrible?
What?
Last week.
Scratch.
I don't even remember.
You don't even
this.
remember
What are
that
you
last
talking
week?
See, that
I
was
felt
when Matt
so guilty
exaggerates
for
with
saying
humor that we don't really get.
I know. It breezed right
Even
over me,
needs
It
to
buddy.
did.
about?
You
Exaggerate
said
more.
something. You give me no.
Did I?
How am I exaggerating?
You gave
I
him
can't
a look.
remember I can't remember the
Does
context
Katie
of the
have a
comment.
look?
I got a couple.
Yeah.
I do.
Really? Oh, I know you.
No,
have a
someone
look.
said, "Is cutting really a problem in junior
I have a
high?"
look just
and
for
I
the go.
said, "No,
Oh,
it's
right.
more scratching."
Oh, I do remember that now.
Yeah.
So
I
where am I
followed away
exaggerating
as-
it?
No,
Was
you,
I
you-
exaggerating?
You missed.
I missed the point.
Yeah. it's
I thought
okay.
it was funny. Maybe that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I'll explain it at lunch.
Okay, good.
Are you coming to lunch today?
Yes.
Wow! What in the world is happening today?
Somebody just died.
treadmill accident just occurred. Are you
Yes, I am.
great.
Michael DeHaan.
Only if you go somewhere delicious.
agree?
Boneheads. Michael DeHaan, Overland Park
No, not
Church of the
Boneheads.
Nazarene, Pulse Student Ministries, Lamar Avenue.
right.
Oh, shoot. And cut off what
Virginia.
state?
Virginia.
Overland. I'm going to say
You know.
Kansas.
Oh.
Just decided.
I'm gonna say.
My question is this. We have a worship team that leads the music portion of our student service.
Give them money.
That comment brought to you by 99 Thoughts for All Small Group Leaders.
I'm gonna
Write
do
it
a
down.
pound it tally at our
a lot of
next.
pound-
You
there's a lot of
guys
pounds.
do this a lot.
Pound it on that. Pound it.
You can't go there. What if we go somewhere delicious?
Okay. Over the years,
We're going to Panera Bread. Pound it. You can't not pound Panera Bread.
We're gonna find
Pound
Tully's
it.
Cafe.
how can you not have... Okay.
Corner Bakery. We're going to Corner Bakery. That's a girl
I thought we were going to
restaurant.
Boneheads.
Oh, not Boneheads.
I won't pound it.
I'm going to tell Morgan you said that, not
You-
Bonehead.
Dude, there's sea bass.
I love Boneheads.
Okay, focus. This is like my 9th grade small group last night. Over the
ready.
years, and you know what I'm thinking. So insider.
Insider.
Over the years, the band has had its ups and downs, going from
Wow.
Wow.
Couldn't just.
Tic Tacs.
I just.
That was
No, that's
Sorry.
over the years. The band has had its
female
ups
to
and
be
downs,
criticized.
going from 4 members to 2, from sounding great to sounding pitiful. Right now, the band is okay. It's made up of 2 guitarists that pretty much lead everything. Each year, I go ahead and say, "Let's try it," hoping the music will get better. That would benefit our time of worship. However, no one sings along with the band. Instead, they're talking, goofing off, pushing each other, just standing there looking like zombies. The point is, the music portion of our service is not really working well. It's not engaging or beneficial. You mentioned in your book that you never even used to have music in your crowd programs and to basically not be afraid to not have music. So my thoughts are to possibly transition out of a music set, but I don't know how to make that transition because we've done it every week for the past 3 years. How would you go about making a huge transition like that? And what would I do instead of music?
Very cool. Well, Matt, you walked through this, right? You
Yeah.
guys. So.
Yeah, I
got
decided.
nothing on this one. I'm
I
curious your
canceled it on my watch, and it was awesome. I mean, it was hard.
It was exactly what he's describing.
It was exactly because let's just say it wasn't working. So that we don't need to go and talk about why it wasn't working. There was a ton of students that complained. There was a couple parents. Not very many parents came forward, but every student we met with one-on-one. It was either you and I together, or it was just me, or you met with some too.
Yeah.
And we totally walked through our reasons, and we would say, I mean, we weren't snarky. I mean, it was very clear. It's like, hey, so when you bring your friends, what do they think about the songs? Oh, you don't bring friends. So when you're not on stage singing, do you sing? Oh, wait a minute, you're in the band and you only show up when so I mean, the people that were saying things, it was real obvious. We had real strong reasons for what we were doing and why we did it. Now, what we also did, we changed one of the services, and we had a ton of singing in that service. And we said, why don't you guys own this? Why don't you guys own the music? Why don't you make it happen? And we'll triple the songs. We're going to still do the same songs every weekend. We're just going to put them all in one service and not, and then they were like all fired up. Yeah, this is great. This is going to grow bigger than anything else. And, this is what people are going to, come to. Because the growth thing, the idea was the weekend that it was the front door, that it was a place that
It was
you
our
could come.
entry-level program.
It was a front door entry-level program that,
I've been
and
right
the
where
idea.
you am.
7. So it was tough. I mean, we had a lot of conversations. We upped the programming. I mean, we had to up the creative programming. It was more work. It's more difficult to take music out. And we did it for like 10 months, and we actually felt like it was great. It was a healthy thing for our ministry. We took heat. I mean,
Well,
we took
what
a lot
had
of
happened is we really had turned our back on the leadership development of these young musicians, and it became more about their performance. And going back to the heart, it was about them being on stage and them singing and them being popular, and it was just about them. They weren't out. They weren't attending the service. They would like play and then going back and smoke. No, just kidding. But
Sniff.
in essence,
Yeah.
scratch. They they just weren't getting it, and it was our fault. I mean, we allowed that to happen.
But there was also in the crowd there was less than like 20% of the people there were participating.
Yeah.
And it's like if you were doing anything else and you had a 20% engagement factor, you wouldn't do that anymore. If only 20% of the people were listening to your message, you would teach in a different way. I mean,
You would make a huge adjustment so that the
Yeah.
gospel could be the clearest, the environment would be.
And
the
what I
clearest.
might do in Michael's situation is I might say, I know this is a Band-Aid answer, but just to kind of bring to some conclusion to this, is saying we've struggled with it, we can totally relate, this, we could have written this. I would say I might have those kids do a special song
Yeah.
in the midst of a talk. Like you give them, still use their
Yeah.
giftedness.
Give them
So,
something,
Right.
this weekend, as I'm speaking, I might say, I saw these lyrics and I thought this summarized my message so well, and I've asked Joe
Yeah.
and Jim to sing
Yeah.
the song.
To
So,
sing Gold Digger.
it's a good song. That's right. That's funny.
Powerful message.
but, and I think you got to have, you're going to get heat. Anytime you change, you're going to get heat.
Well, but at the same time, I would say everyone else knows it, except for the kids in the band and a few parents. Everyone else knows it's not working.
Yeah.
So cutting it would be
Yeah.
a relief to
Yeah.
90% of the people in your youth room at that.
Yeah.
The 10% will be really vocal, but I don't think in some ways it won't hurt a bunch of people.
Well, and you can say we're going to try it as an experiment.
Absolutely.
We're going to do
Yeah.
it for a short season.
You can
Yeah.
do anything under the umbrella of experiment.
That's
One
right.
Which
series,
is so
3
glorious.
weeks, 4 weeks,
Yeah,
whatever.
I think
And then
it's
just
great.
keeps going. Hey,
What
what
would you
happened to
fill
that
the time
experiment?
The experiment
Yeah.
succeeded, and we're just going to keep
Yeah.
doing it. It's so great.
You said creative programming. Would you do other ways to worship during that time? Rather than just singing, would you have times of silence or times of prayer or times of whatever?
I mean, laughter's not worship.
Oh, I think it is. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
But you might
would
need
there
to get
be-
a little creative
Yeah.
as you make that transition to
Yeah.
kind of, change it up a little bit, maybe.
Right. We're
as
gonna
a
worship the
replacement.
song this week, but we're gonna do a scripture
Yeah.
reading or whatever. I don't know. What
Yeah, I mean, or you see a funny video and afterwards you say, "Hey, look, we think it's great to laugh. God put us here on earth to experience joy and to have fun." I mean, you could do great, funny stuff and just say, "Hey, here's why we're doing this."
Totally. Yeah, I
But
like it. Just
I
curious.
never got this confirmed, but after that happened, like after that, I think it was 10
In our
months,
setting?
in our ministry, I never got this confirmed. So I don't know. Maybe someone on the live podcast, I'll get shot down for saying this. But that the Matt Redman song, "Back to the Heart of Worship" or "Heart of Worship," whatever that is called, that's when he wrote that song. That whatever ministry he was involved in, I
Because
don't
he had
know if
heard
it was
about our situation.
no,
It's just
no, it's the other way
in
around.
1989.
He had cut music out of whatever he was doing at his church. I don't know if it was youth ministry. I don't know if it was the main deal.
Right.
But he had cut music out for a significant amount of time, and that was the first song that he wrote that they brought back
Yeah.
in. To say, hey, look, this really isn't just about singing or just about doing something. It's
Yeah,
about
I'll give
worship.
you more than a song,
So-
and that's what you guys were
Yeah.
essentially saying.
Yeah.
And I never got that confirmed. So maybe
You
Matt
must
be
Redman
right.
wrote it
That's
another
awesome.
time.
Makes
So
for a great story.
it does.
Yeah.
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 We'll have to get Matt
Now-
Robbins Skyped in next week.
To fast forward a little bit, that same high school ministry,
Yes.
now the singing is unbelievable.
I was going to say, the conclusion is the singing is an integral, powerful part of the service.
when
of the
we
weekend, of the-
restarted, it got
Yeah.
restarted with the right leadership and the right motives, and
But what I've seen this summer is way different than anything I remember in my 11 years.
well, the other thing is we
Way
changed
more.
environments too. So we were in an open tent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
a
yeah.
hollowed tent which had
Cloning facility.
terrible acoustics.
At best, a modular building.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
yeah,
I mean,
before,
it just-
yeah.
you always felt like you were singing a solo.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's all it was. To
And
an
now
environment
that's
now where we
Yeah.
meet different and
That's
it is
true. I
it
didn't
is
really think about the room
created
factor.
for,
Cool.
it's created for acoustics.
Yeah.
So that
I
has
just
a-
thought Josh had
I
more
just-
spiritual ministry.
Well,
Well, music at a crowd program though is tough because I would,
Yeah.
it's something that I think both junior high and high school we still don't have
it all figured out?
50% of our students are participating at
It is
best,
really
I would
interesting
say.
to look out and go, wow, those students are so into it. And then look right next to them. In fact, you were teaching a weekend and you looked over at me and you're like, look at those kids worship. And then there's another kid with like his hand in his pockets, like clearly didn't even want to be there,
Yeah.
much less didn't understand or
It's
sing.
a tough dynamic.
And you were thinking
Yeah.
of teaching to both of them. But
Yeah.
even at that moment, the worship leader's trying
Yeah.
to lead the and
Yeah.
same thing.
Yeah.
Tough.
I'm
tough.
coming back to the yee-ba-dee-yap.
Why don't you
That
post on
sounds just like
Zabba-da-dee.
Zabas.
You ought to post on
Zabba-da-dee.
Yahweh, love Yahweh, like kids, .com.
You're not supposed to say that name out loud.
Love Messiah. Yeah.
Hashem, please.
Jim.
Love
The one
Yahweh,
whose name
like
cannot be spoken. Voldemort?
All right. We got a lot of questions. Are we done?
I'm not done. I'm ready to go for 2 more hours.
that was a good ending
I don't know. It
question.
felt right. That was a good heart piece. So give your kids money. What else did we learn today?
Give Josh money.
Give kids cash when they come.
We're
Katie's
going
coming to
Hawaii.
lunch.
Get
What
on
is
the
that
wall. We're
know.
going to Outback.
You
Thanks
guys
for being
gave
a
me
part
so
of
much
this.
Today
grief
vacation day.
last
Is today
week.
vacation day for you?
I was on vacation last week.
Oh,
See you
wow.
next week, everybody.
Let's hang
This
out
is
with my
all.
kids.
There's nothing left to see.
Oh.